good morning everybody. We are live from downtown Sacramento. We are live from downtown Sacramento. And how is everybody doing? We're currently going from Old Town to the downtown area. I was going to show everybody the river, but unfortunately the Wi-Fi went a little kaput. But we're actually going to be, but instead, this is what the old downtown area looks like. So here we go. We got ourselves some parking structure, of course, very classic downtown. And behind us is the old town Arvada. If we go underneath this teleportation bridge, unfortunately, if we go underneath this bridge, we are teleported to the 1800s, where there is no Wi-Fi back in the riverboat and steam engine era. Unfortunately, did not have any data, and that's why we don't have any data under the teleportation bridge. Thank you so much, CJL. I'm so glad we are back to the modern times with the Holiday Express, the downtown area. And let's go explore this plaza, see how it looks like in the morning. We were supposed to be here in the evening, but me and Keith, we do have some slightly different plans. But I'm here with you all this morning, and I'm glad that we are here bright and early. Fortunately, when we cross under that bridge in the downtown, we are teleported into the modern world, where we have modern amenities such as Wi-Fi, and a whole bunch of really amazing 5G AT&T data. That is our life so far. That's our life so far. Looks like that the 1800s are not ready to be shown on camera quite yet, especially if they're in the twilight zone. So we got ourselves some really busy cafes, and we do have city locals out and about, getting the city nice and ready for everybody. Plus over here is a movie theater that we might see this Mario movie at today. Looks like they're getting stocked up on the beer and sodas. It was also a really wild basketball game last night. If anybody is watching during the final playoffs, I find it wild that the Nuggets were able to outdo the Minnesota Celtics. So let's go up the escalator and see what we see this morning. Thank you everybody for your continued patience. We are back better than ever. And looks like we're in for some good times today. Another thing I'm always looking for is a whole bunch of orange juice. So let's see if we can find ourselves a glass of orange juice before the morning is out. Some very fresh orange juice from the orange orchards that we one of the rarest things to see, especially downtown, where there could be some where I wonder if there's any farmers markets. We got 5 bars of 5G. Hope for the best. We got ourselves a burger lounge. Thank you everybody for your continued patience. The Century Theater, where we're actually going to see this movie right here, the Mario Galaxy. And right below us is the plaza area. This is where you can go, sit down, and probably play some cornhole too. This is how quiet it is out here. I'm a little surprised that not many people are eating breakfast. Usually in Denver, this area would be packed to the gills with people and tourists feasting on a delicious breakfast, but not out here. So I'm curious, are you able to see and hear me? I am not sure due to how unpredictable the internet is out here. I'm glad to hear Gizmo. And I'm also wondering, is anybody able to see and chat today? YouTube has been acting a little strange, where it shows me that 0 people are watching, and sometimes the chat is so delayed that I don't see a message that somebody sent until 5 minutes later. So I'm trying to figure out what is going on with YouTube. I honestly don't think that notification was sent out for today, but we shall keep on going anyways. And I do enjoy documenting and seeing what we can see. This right here looks like to be a poke and chili place. And I'm just surprised by how quiet Plaza is. Over here is a Sandbox X VR place, Sandbox virtual reality. I have not done very much with Sandbox with virtual reality personally. Only experience I have is with virtual reality is some meta prototypes that I saw in 2017 Denver Comic Con. Alright, so right below us is the downtown plaza. Not sure what's going on down here, but usually this place does get packed when the golden one centers are in season. Unfortunately, they did not make it to the playoffs, and I find it really wild that the Denver Nuggets did not make the playoffs. I find it really wild that the Denver Nuggets were able to advance to the playoffs despite only being at 3-1 win ratio, meaning that they already lost twice but they've only won once, which is actually very rare. The last team that was able to pull off the NBA Finals with these statistics was back in 2021 when the Denver Nuggets were able to win. Yep, we got the whole place to ourselves. It's definitely a paradise. And what really surprises me is that there are no food stands or any hot dog stands. Usually in New York City or any other major city or plaza I've been to, there are at least 5 hot dog stands, 5 billion people, 5 billion yellow taxis, but not here or in Chicago. YouTube is really weirding me out this morning. I'm feeling a little weirded out by I'm a little weirded out by YouTube. What's really weirds me out the most is that when I first started this morning, people were able to find the stream and people were able to hang on and have a good time. But then I go live a second time and YouTube is not showing any of the chats or anybody here. That's right, wakey everybody, where is everybody today? That's what's so weird, is literally everybody was able to join us on the first round, but on the second round, it's a ghost town. Just like this plaza is. Not sure what the heck is going on. And that's right, Shay, let's wake up the people. Let's see what's going on down here. And let's see if there's any breakfast places. Looks like we got ourselves a Back to the Future musical. And it looks like we got ourselves a Back to the Future musical. And I'm not sure what this art piece looks like or it depicts, but I've been noticing it every time I pass by here. I just love the iridescent feel and how it is so reflective. What an absolute beauty. So let's see what's over by the roadside, if there is any action over there. Definitely a very slow and very quiet day this morning. The connection is very secure. Hey, good morning, Blake. Good to see you. How are you doing? Is there anything that you would like to see this morning? But also, we are on the quest to find ourselves a really fresh cup of delicious orange juice. It's so good to see you all. So right now we're going through the city plaza. I do apologize for the really strange lighting. Sometimes the lighting can be a little hit or miss, especially when the bright sunlight, and the fact that there are so many really tall buildings. In front of us is one of the tallest towers in Sacramento. And this is the Golden One Credit Union Stadium. Of all things, I find it really surprising that a credit union actually can pull off an entire stadium. For the longest time, I thought that credit unions were really small family-owned banks, and I've never been to either, Blake, except for yesterday and today. Thank you everybody for spending the morning with us today and to seeing what we can get into. I still find it wild that every single time I pass in Chicago, I cannot help but think about running into Kim Kardashian when I was down in Chicago. When I was down in Chicago, I was sitting around at my table, and then kabam, here comes Kim Kardashian and her entourage. At the time, I was not really big into social media, so I just got a really brief photo. But sure enough, it's a silhouette of Kim Kardashian. It is actually a basketball station. Let me zoom on up, but it is actually a basketball stadium. It is actually a basketball stadium that has been built. That's been built in around 2023 or 2024. Please correct me if I am wrong. So let's see what this main stadium is made out of. So I'm going to take you all. I'm going to go a little bit closer to the stadium, and I wonder what these things are. These bucket-like things are, which gets me really curious. Definitely looks like flower buckets, but the flowers have been taken out for the season, especially with the aeration system. That's what I see. And now it gets me really curious too. I actually find it really surprising that there'll be entire flower beds around the stadium. What really surprises me the most is that as I begin to wonder, how does the flowers and plants not overheat, especially if the sun is going to be shining on the stadium, and the stadium is made out of pure stainless steel or aluminum. The plants must be really overheating. That makes me wonder if that's the reason why these pots are emptied. Over here is some more native plants that I am unfortunately very unfamiliar with, but I do enjoy seeing if there are any poppies. One of the big things I'm looking for are poppies and poppy seeds. And I'm also really trying to hunt down any fresh orange juice, especially since it's breakfast time. And unfortunately, and one of my biggest things I've always wanted to try is some very fresh orange juice from the orange groves themselves. There was actually some orange groves at the Capitol Gardens, but they're for display, not for consumerism. Thank you, Blake. It's very neat outside. We got ourselves some Jamba Juice, which is very popular out in the West, and the Chipotle too. I'll take an order of black beans, rice, carnitas, vegetable fajitas, cones, beans, and rice, please and thank you. Did you also know that the very first Chipotle was established in Denver, Colorado, off of the street Colfax? Colfax is actually the longest continuous street there is in Colorado, spanning from Golden, Colorado, all the way to Strasbourg, California into the Great Plains. Plus, there's actually a bridge. There's actually a bridge in Colorado that is not in Colorado, but there's actually a bridge over Lake Pontchartrain that is literally 24 miles long, making it the longest water bridge in North America. But there is also a even longer bridge out. There's even a longer bridge out somewhere in an Asian country that is 26 miles. I forgot where, but it's either in China or Hong Kong, two of the major provinces. And also, did you know that India is the most populated country as of now? Hello, CEO, it's so good to see you. Are you able to hear and see everything today? So right here is the downtown area, which is public, which we can take a little loop around, just like what we did yesterday. But you can now see the difference of what it looks like during the daytime versus what it looks like later in the afternoon. Alright, looks like we hear the Disneyland. Looks like we hear the Sacramento light monorail. And yep, here comes the monorail. Chugga chugga choo choo, chugga chugga choo choo. And much better, let there be some light. Let's shine some light onto the situation. But and another thing that's really wild is that there's no casinos out here except for in Redwood. But if you go to the Utah and if you go to the California and Nevada, if you go to the California and Nevada border, you can literally be sitting there, go across the border, and you get 6 casinos right there waiting for you. Up here, I'm not sure what restaurant this is, but up here is the Candles restaurant. Let's see what kind of artwork they got going on here. This does remind me of a cathedral. I'm forgetting the name of it, but there's a cathedral full of Leo da Vinci's artwork in Rome, in Florence, Italy. Not sure why, but this mural does remind me of Leonardo da Vinci, but very, very different, but with a very different twist to it. There's something about this really vibrant color palette, and I just really love just the details of a mural. The patterns do remind me of Islamic style artwork that you can see in the temples too. Most if I recall correctly, most Islamic artwork actually utilizes bold stripes and repetitive patterns rather than characters, and of course animal depictions. That's what I do remember from my second year of art history. I always love seeing a city that's full of artwork, either it's city artwork or graffiti. It makes the city come to life. Alright, so down there looks like a business district, but over here it does look like another really long It really is, Shay. It's so good to see you, Shay. How are you doing? I'm glad that you finally made it. So if we keep going forward, we will see the capital city. But not. Let's see what's going on down that direction. Then we take a loop right back. Alright, nothing's coming. Doing a double take. Looks like we got ourselves a subway stop. So let's do the top side and slide to the right. I'm not sure what's going on down here, but I'm just really curious to see, since we do got ourselves a subway. And when it comes to a new city, I just like to sit around, explore, and see what I see. Both have an itinerary. And down this alleyway, we do got ourselves some more artwork, so let's go check it out. Why not? This building right here is definitely reminding me of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. That's so neat, Shay. I'm glad that you were able to make your own account, and it's so good to hear from you. This is what some of the artwork does look like. I wish I knew who the artist was, and I wish that I knew who the artist was. But whoever made this artwork did a really wonderful job with black and white and line contrast. That's one thing I enjoy. That's one thing I enjoy about cities. It is walking around and seeing all the artwork, especially if there's nothing else going on in the morning. Alright, I always like to check up upwards just to see if there happens to be any artwork on the side of the building too. Sometimes you gotta check out surfaces and make sure that you got your ducks in a row. Definitely is, Shay. That's why I love to come out here when it's not too busy, and this way we can really enjoy the artwork. Oops. Looks like we do got ourselves some basketball inspired artwork. That looks like a bell from the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Ding ding. We got ourselves the basketball logo. This is definitely a very basketball oriented city from what I can tell based off the artwork and what I see. This is who the artwork is. It's painted by Yuli, downtown Sacramento. And this is what the other side does look like. For some reason, I thought it was gonna be identical like a wrap, but I really love whenever art surprises us, especially when it has multiple different sides to it. I would love to see Sacramento too. I would love to bring Gizmo and Shay down to Sacramento at some point. It would be a very, very gorgeous sight to see. This does remind me of some prints that I've seen in the 1970s. I do love the melted smiley face vibes, and I also just really love seeing the cheetah print. This is actually getting me inspired inspired to paint my room if I ever do get my own room, which I'll be painting like this. So let's keep taking a look and see what else we see and see if there's any other artwork that we can find. This right behind us is the plaza. Not sure what's going on, but it does look like a deli that opens around 11 a.m. Over here, it does look like the bank of the mill, it does look like the Mills and Bank Company. Let's see what we can see down here. I unfortunately don't have all the historical knowledge or facts that Keith does, but this is my take on the new city. Hey, Ring Camel, good to see you. Ring, ring, ring. Sometimes the Ring Camels be like, "You are being recorded," and I'd be like, "Hello, Ring Camel, it's so good to see you." And right here is a bank of the company and the mills. I'm not sure what this supposed to be saying, but right here is the peak. It's like it's like the breakfast kitchen. And down here, if we keep going down here, we will definitely run into Chinatown, and then we'll definitely run into Chinatown and the train station again. This is what the bank. This is definitely what the bank. This is definitely the banking district, and this is actually the entrance to Chinatown. I'm not sure how it is this morning, but I'll definitely go back down there with Keith. So if we keep going down there, we'll get closer towards the town center, and there's definitely a lot more artwork down there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people blocking the sidewalk, so I will not be going down there. But let's see what's going on by the cream and coffee area. Hello, Ring Camel. Good morning, Ring. Ring, ring, ring. Oh, sorry. Good morning. This right here. This right here. Now this right here is actually the tallest area of town. I would love to go to Chinatown, but I would definitely go down there with Keith and during the day. Yeah, but it's really upsetting whenever somebody is being rude or somebody is being really disrespectful, especially when you're trying to walk around and enjoy your morning. Looks like we got ourselves the Sacramento monorail. Chugga chugga choo choo. Nothing can stop us now. Nothing can stop us now. Yes, more what's your question? And what I find really wild is that Denver uses the same tram cars from the same tram company when it comes to the light rails. Some stuff is not. Some stuff. Yeah, there's actually a mix between graffiti and city art. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, and I usually enjoy art as art, even if it's from the city or from somebody independent. That's a really good question, Gizmo. What I really enjoy the most is just the sightseeing and getting to go through the mountain ranges. What I also really love It's just getting to see. It's just getting to see a whole bunch of seeing a whole bunch of new landscapes that I have never seen before. And I also really love trying all the new food, especially the fish and chips. Even though I had fish and chips a dozen times, I really love trying a city's fish and chips just to see how it tastes different from one city to another. And I also realize that I do walk the same paths a lot, but however, each time I walk a path, I always notice something a little different. That is why I walk the same path sometimes upwards of 5 times before I move to a different path. We do have a sidekick. I've always wanted to get my palms read. I've also really enjoyed getting to my future and my fortune. It's just really reassuring for me. It is definitely open for visitors, but a little fenced up at the time. They do open at 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. And they do specialize in love, home, managing business, towers, past, present, and future. Sounds good. I would really love a spiritual reading someday. And let's see what's going on down this direction. Let's see where the artwork takes us on the street of K. A random street called K. Let's see what we can see down here. This, as you might recognize, is a subway platform. This is definitely some artwork for the Sacramento Kings, the Kings of basketball. Out to close call. It does say graffiti for good, light to beam. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it's a basketball slogan of light to beam, Sacramento Kings. I just really love seeing the artwork I just really love seeing the city full of artwork and life. And over here we got a sign that says it's a beautiful day in Sacramento. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Up here we got the original Max Hotel Brewery poster. We got ourselves some draft beer, some drop beer, some takeout food, and some corned beef. It does sound Irish to me, just based off the corned beef alone. And Shay's asking, do you have a favorite team? That's a really good question. My favorite team right now is, I forgot the name, but it's a team from Philadelphia. I think it's not the Philadelphia Eagles. That's football. But my very favorite team of them all is, I know it's gonna be very controversial, the Patriots. What I like about the Patriots is that they do represent the New England region. My friend Keith is from the New England region. And they had a really strong Super Bowl history. Hopefully they can get back to winning the Super Bowl again. What about you? I know. Let's go down one more block, and then you backtrack and go back down to where we were at. Alright, looks like we're going to wander towards the Capitol Gardens again. And over there, down there, it does look like it's a medical center. So we got the walking signal. Let's boom boom. Hi, good morning. Doing well, what about yourself? I understand, Shay. For the longest time, I do not really have a favorite team. I mostly enjoy whatever team people enjoy seeing. And for the longest time, I cheered for the Broncos, the Nuggets, the Avalanches, and the Rockies. Due to the fact that I live in Colorado, now I cheer for the Boston Red Sox, the Patriots, and I also cheer for the New Orleans Saints along with the Pittsburgh Steelers. My favorite soccer team is my favorite lacrosse team my favorite soccer team is Mammoths. I forgot what the name of the lacrosse team was, but I do enjoy watching a really real game of lacrosse, especially if it's the only thing on TV besides the news. Hello, Sister Aurora, it's so good to see you. How are you doing today? I'm really excited to meet you in Disneyland if you're still around the meetup. I'm down May 1st to May 3rd, and I would definitely love to meet you during the day. So here's the backside of the Capitol. It was a pretty lengthy walk. And if you're curious about the Capitol Walk, I'll be linking the Capitol Walk stream in the comments below once I'm through here. This way you can see what the Capitol Gardens do look like if you're watching the replay or if you're new. This is definitely a really beautiful area, and what Sacramento is known for. It is honestly a very small town. It honestly feels like a mix-up between a small town and a big town. It is as if Napa Valley and San Francisco got blended together into one. Hi! This is definitely a very busy district of town. And right there is the Capitol Dome, just a very quiet area around the Capitol. These are the same barricades we saw yesterday. So now, since you're not going on the side, let's jump over on this side and see what we can see from the library bank side of things. Whoop, much better. Now you can see the entire picture of what we can. Now you can see everything that I see too. Definitely a lot of redwoods, which does surprise me. I actually had a dream about being surrounded by a forest of redwoods, and I've also had some really strange dreams that I was helping somebody pack up, and then I ended up on Mission Breakout. I've not seen the sculpture or the fountains quite yet. I've actually never seen the front of these buildings, but it does remind me of the Civic Center station down in Denver, Colorado, which I do enjoy walking around. in between construction season and rental. Always construction going on out and about. And over here real quickly is the Capitol building. I always admire really fancy, I always admire Chicago World Fair inspired architecture. Let's get past these gigantic fan palms. So here it is, the Capitol with a palm tree going down the center. Sometimes I wish I could reach out and move that palm tree over by a foot and plop it down so we could get a really picture perfect view of the Capitol too. And wait a second, what about if we just do this instead and do the cha-cha slide on over, whoop. And now we just cha-cha slide the pine tree over, much better. I also just enjoy taking a few minutes to breathe and just to relax. Even if you look at something for like an extra minute, that's the beauty of being able to go outside and just be able to relax in certain places. And that's another reason why I enjoy coming when it's not so crowded, so we can do things just like this. It does remind me of a White House gizmo. It does remind me of Washington D.C. too. So now let's see what building this is. I wish I knew my history a little bit better, but unfortunately I didn't. But unfortunately I just kind of skimmed by history, U.S. history. I don't remember very much outside of my Constitution and my rights. That's what I paid attention to. But I didn't really pay. But I really had a hard time figuring out the judicial branches, the legislative branches, and which each building was from. But I'm very slowly learning. Through real world experience. Same here, Gizmo. My history is blah. I had a really hard time learning U.S. history due to how it was taught. But the one thing I made sure to study is my constitutional rights, and what to do if something does go sideways. Absolutely gorgeous. I really like your name too, honey. Go. It is so sweet. For a moment, I thought that this was the Library of Congress. I also realized that the Library of Congress does share a very similar facade to this one. So let's zoom on into the facade so we don't miss a single detail. So let's see what's on the other side of us before we keep on going. Let's zoom on up. Whoop! It definitely is Gizmo, and you're absolutely correct. That's why I put in extra effort and time to study that part of history. And here it is, the beautiful pediment and the crescendo columns. That's what the name was yesterday. It was crescendo columns, the crescendo effect. And also same with Stonehenge and Roman revival artwork. This does look like the courthouse to me. But let's see what the little placard says. View. Gimbal ride, everybody. Please keep your hands and feet inside the gimbal at all times. So let's take a closer look to see what's inside of this building. This is definitely a state office building, and it's for the governor of California. Looks like this is the governor's mansion, or the governor's house. And same here, Shay. My history was bland. The only history I do remember is art history. The reason being is that I was in a digital design art major that required 4 years of art history, one per every semester. And that's why I kind of remember art history, plus the professors literally built on top of each other. So you had to remember everything from the past 3 semesters once you got to the 4th semester. I just cannot help but admire these views. History was not my favorite subject. I preferred art history, and I also preferred recess, lunch, IB, and AP artwork. I was definitely an art major. That was like 8 years ago. I graduated high school in 2018. Graduated college 2025. That was my last graduation date. And I find it really wild that it literally took me 10 years, an entire decade, to get through 4 years of college due to a lot of interruptions and personal life stuff. However, when it comes to college, it's okay to take it at your own pace. Same with everything in life, even if it seems very slow and tedious. Whatever will work out, especially in my life. And I found even when I do college, I just have to take it very slowly and methodically. That's how I could succeed, even if it took me an extra 5 years. I also switched majors from 3D animation to digital design. Me and Maya, we were not clicking. So let's see what's going down this walkway by the railroad crossing. Let's see what we got down here. Hi. This is definitely a really beautiful place just to admire. So now I'm just going to admire it for a little bit from a distance. Right now we're at 9th Street in Capitol. And let's go down a little bit since there is a grass cutter and we'll be blasting our ears apart. Alright, double check for traffic. Nope, no traffic. We're in the clear. I'm not sure why, but I just really love the fresh smell. Of freshly cut grass. Welcome back, Robin. You have returned just in time for the grand Capitol view and the grand Civic Center Plaza view for somebody who does not know much of U.S. history. You just made it back in time, but we're also going to go down this walkway to where the railroad crossing says. And I'm also curious, Robin, I know I'm jumping around like a little grasshopper that I am, but did Dean see the Hollywood Tower Hotel from Dean to Tokyo Lifestyle? I do love myself some fresh cut grass, especially when it's nice and green out in Sacramento. Not the dried up stuff that you find it in Denver, Colorado. 11.5 out of 12 months. Your lawn is bright. Your lawn is bright yellow. Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, the Hollywood Tower Hotel is the best thing on the planet. Mama Medulla. Oh my gosh, I just cannot believe. Thank you so much, Robin, for getting the screen capture of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. I make a kid in the candy store when it comes to the Hollywood Tower Hotel. The more screenshots, the better. Woo! Heck yeah, hallelujah. That's what we're talking about here. And literally, I could be in the middle of doing something very different or Disney non-related, but then, kabam! The moment that the Hollywood Tower Hotel emojis, it's over. It's over. Oh my gosh! Thank you, Robin, for showing me the Hollywood Tower Hotel today. That means the absolute world. I do love the tower, best thing on the planet. Everybody on the count of 3. The Hollywood Tower Hotel is the best thing on the planet. The Hollywood Tower Hotel is the best thing on the planet. And and there's no denying that allegedly. So back here is what the Capitol looks like from a distance. It does remind me of the Washington D.C. Plaza, and I also really do miss when the D.C. Plaza actually had H2O versus sod back in the 1960s. Not sure if anybody else is seeing this, but when I see this, I see a tribute to the Washington D.C. Plaza. I've always wanted to go back to D.C. just to see the Smithsonian's, and it looks like we're stuck in the island. Uh-oh, red lights everywhere. Whoop! Never mind, green light. We can go, go, go. Whoop! And now slide to the left, slide to the right, and everybody, let's do this cha-cha slide. And if we want to go back, we can slide back to the right, slide to the left, slide to the right, and rinse and repeat all day long. But that'd be kind of boring, so let's make some progress and go forward. The cha-cha slide. And the answer to Sierra's question from earlier, due to the lag monster, aka Cruising Theme Park Guide, that's not the lag monster's name. Cruising Theme Park Guide, I meant to say Sierra, is asking, are you in Anaheim yet? Unfortunately, we're not even close. 700 miles away. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. One first step I have to take. Every step I take marks a new beginning. Happily ever Anaheim, after all. So much for a really peaceful morning walk, especially when you got Tornado Tower here and people talking about the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Cool. Oop. Duck, duck, tree. I nearly got bashed in the face with a gigantic magnolia leaf. There are times I'm walking out and about, and all of a sudden, I get, instead of whiplashed, I get leaf rashed. There was one time when I was in school, and I had to run the mile. Next thing you know, I ended up running into a bush. That's what happens when I go out running. I run into bushes instead. So let's go on down to the river and see if we can see anything by the river. Boop boop. Looks like we can keep on walking it and moving it. Alright, 9 service. This does sound like a robot out here. Alright, we are approaching 6th Avenue. Let's see how close we can get to the river, since I'm now really curious. I didn't think we would walk this far, but this is where the good data is, and sometimes instead of follow the yellow brick road, you gotta follow the Wi-Fi brick road. And this is where all the good Wi-Fi shall lead us, especially since we're in the downtown district. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, everybody. Just had to do a quick refresh, and now we're back. Alright, we got the go-go signal, so whoop, Now we can keep it going and moving it down along. Alright, double check. Nothing's coming. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Alright, here we go. Whoop. I'm not sure what it is, but I just love how vibrant the colors are. I just love how vibrant the colors are when the sun reflects off all the skyscrapers at the same time. It's just something very eye soothing and puts me in a really relaxed mood. And this is what's directly in front of us. That's not a skyscraper, but a gigantic monorail bus. All this bus needs to do is take us to the resorts or the Hollywood studios. Just kidding. We got ourselves some Bank of America. What a really lovely plaza this morning. Alright, looks like we gotta get sidestepped. They'd be cleaning the sidewalks. And public timing, we can go boop, straight ahead. Alright, boom boom, here we go. Run, Rudolph, here we go, running across downtown, trying to make the next flight. Whoop, here we go. Run Scooby-Doo to the mystery van. And here we go. Just like that. Looks like there's some construction going on over here. Not sure what they're doing unless they're window washing. It does remind me of a window washing shaft. And speaking of which, I wonder how they wash the windows on the Hollywood Tower Hotel. If they're actual windows, since I do see that they're glass panes or plexiglass. They must wash on the facade at least every few months. Not sure when and not sure how, but the facade definitely does get clean. Given that there's a lot of soot and there's a lot of really gross stuff in the Florida air. Same with the air in just about every part of the country too. That would get me wondering is how do they keep the Hollywood Tower Hotel so nice and pink and so clean? That's where my mind goes when it comes to the Hollywood Tower Hotel and seeing window cleaning. Is this directly to the Hollywood Tower Hotel? Mama Dula. And over here to the right of us is Japantown. I think that it's actually under renovation, so hopefully when we come back we can see Japantown again. Here it is, Japantown. Whoop. I've always wanted to visit Japantown. I've always wanted to visit Japantown, and unfortunately from the sign it looks like that the land is under redevelopment. Hopefully at some point when it reopens we can go down there and we can have some obon. I do enjoy a really good dish of obon and a really good dish of ramen. Let's see if there's anything going on between the facade, the Galway green. Nope, can't see anything but a bunch of trees, bushes, and it's definitely under redevelopment. Looks like it's going to be at least another 5 years. Same with Disney's Encantoland and Disney's Villains Land. I do get a feeling that I do get it. I do get a feeling that Disney's Monsters Inc. land will be completed before the villains land by now. And I'm trying to figure out where the microphone is, just to make sure that you can hear me. Thank you everybody for your patience. All right, everybody, we are back. Thanks for your patience. Just had to make sure that the picture was looking really crispy. I'm glad to hear Gizmo. Whenever I see the chat jumping around or YouTube glitching, I always wonder if my microphone is accidentally muted. That'd be the last thing I want, since I would not be able to hear anything, and I would not be able to hear the sights and sounds when I watch the video, when I watch the footage, just for my home video replay. Alright, come on, zoom, let's zoom. Oops. Thank you everybody for your patience. I wish we were able to see what was going on, and I really wish that we could see Japantown fully developed. Maybe in another 10 years when they come back. Hello, mommy, and hello, Mish. How are you doing? And Robin is asking, is Keith with you today, Tony? He actually has to get some stuff done before he can come on out. And yes, Keith is with me today, but he did decide to stay behind, and that's why you get the Tony Tower Hotel with this Tony and Hollywood Tower Hotel. Looks like we got ourselves a downtown techno band. If you wish to partake in some techno, 21 plus, anybody. How are you doing, Mish? It's so good to see you. And let's take a little closer look into some of this artwork. Uh-oh, I just nearly fell into a pothole. This is the kind of art I really enjoy. Not sure what it is, but I just love seeing the very vibrant wraps. And it does remind me of Alice in Wonderland and Lucy in the Sky of Diamonds, which I really love. Matter of fact, Lucy in the Sky of Diamonds is one of my favorite Beatles animations. And it's like something about the colors that just really capture my attention. I just really love the repetition, the bright colors. It feels like I'm literally in a dreamland, which I perform when it comes to artwork. So let's cross on over into the Twilight Zone. Not quite yet, but we can cross on over any minute now. Bam! Wait, stop, wait a minute. Uptown funk you up, uptown funk you up. Alright, here we go. Whoop. Across the river we go. Vamos. Alright, it looks like this is the Tower Bridge Garage. I do wonder if we can see our hotel from this bridge, since this is the icon. I've never been on the side of the bridge before, but we should go explore. Over here is the interstate. The bridge is the icon of the city. No wonder you see it on just about every postcard. And I also begin to wonder if there are multiple bridges or just that one bridge. Let's go find out. And over here we got ourselves some Embassy Suites. Looks to be pretty luxury hotel rooms. This is how busy the interstate, I believe interstate 85 M6 is. Kind of hard to see, but here's a better view over here. Definitely a lot of traffic. It's a bustling city, and California is known for its morning traffic during this 7 to 8 a.m. rush hour. I keep thinking it's 11 a.m., but I'm used to being on Western Pacific time and in Chicago too. And thank you so much, Robin. That's right. If you enjoyed the Tony Zone, that's the power of the Tony Zone right there. Especially if you enjoy going places. It always helps out a lot, but it's never expected. Let's keep the Tony Zone going. Woo! Heck yeah, that's what we're talking about. And I also cannot wait for the day where I can enable emojis. This way we can have a bunch of emojis. And that's one of my favorite things about chats, is seeing all the special emojis. Alright, looks like we can go bomb, boom boom. Sorry, oops. Alright, bam, made it just in time. And that's right, Robin. If you want to enjoy the Higher Tower Hotel, be sure to check out their Instagram. They're your stress-free travel agents, and it does not require a travel agent fee. They were actually a massive help for me when it comes to helping my friend and I book Disneyland and Disney World. This does feel like I'm in Beverly Hills right now. And that's good to know, Robin, about the magical 36 number. When that happens, we'll be partying like it's 1917. And as we slowly make our way up to Anaheim, slow but steady does the trick. I do apologize if I'm a little wobbly right now, since I'm trying to navigate a really massive city and dodge traffic. And here it is, the famous yellow Sacramento Bridge by the Capitol Mall Plaza. Wow. I didn't know that you could walk underneath the bridge or I thought you could only walk around it or drive under it. I had no idea that it was open to foot traffic, but here we go. Let's see. Over here we got ourselves a Joe's Crab Shack. That looks really good right now. So we might see if Keith is going to go to Joe's Crab Shack and to this part of our town. Thank you so much, Mish. We might be crossing into the dead zone, meaning that there's no Wi-Fi or internet. It's kind of weakening already, so please be patient if there's any lag or any distorted audio as we overcome the Wi-Fi lag monster. Alright, let's let this bicycle go first. Alright, it looks like they might have taken a turn. So this is what the bridge does look like from this angle. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's back up this monorail and just admire the bridge for a few moments. Whoa. I cannot agree more, Mish. I'm so glad to be here right now. This is an absolute gem and an absolute beauty. $1935. Looks like that's when this bridge was established. Basically 20 years before Disneyland opened in 1955, and at least 60 years before the Higher Tower Hotel reopened in 1994, July 22nd, to the public. So now let's keep bugging, let's keep hustling, let's keep on going. And let's see if we can find ourselves a hotel. Hey, good morning, James. It's so good to see you. What's up and how are you doing? Woo! And thank you so much, James, for bringing all the good luck from Alaska today. And where's everybody watching from, speaking of which? And you know, it's really wild. After you get past these fences, take a look at this. This is our hotel. And this is where we can admire the river on 5G data, not negative 5G data. This is the river view we're talking about right here. View we're talking about here, right here. Sometimes you gotta take the long way for the magic to work out. Much better now. Now let's shine some light. Let's shine some light onto this deck. This is kind of view I love waking up to, and this is the view that I wish we had this morning. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi went kaput, so we had to make do, go into Newtown, explore the Newtown area, the capital city. But we did what we gotta do some days. Even though we cannot stay in this area, I'm actually really glad that we got to go to the capital, see the entire Civic Center district, and see what downtown looks like. I couldn't agree more, Gizmo. This is the beauty right here that we're talking about. Turns out all the cellular towers that have all the data are right over here and right behind us, not down this direction in the 1800s. And honestly, if the data was perfect down by the riverboat, I would never known about this view. And in a very strange way, I'm very thankful that we had to start the stream over and restart it in Newtown. Otherwise, we would not be here right now. Sometimes things work. Sometimes things just magically happen for the most mysterious reasons, and now I know why. Just to be right here. This is definitely California paradise, or small town America paradise too. Let's just cross the bridge and see what's on the other side of the bridge. Hopefully it's 5G data and a whole lot of Wi-Fi. Just kidding. Sometimes you gotta break the fourth wall. The data was still holding up strong. Thank you everybody for your continued patience. Whoop, wrong button. Thank you everybody. This is my idea of waking up on an American riverfront. And this is the kind of view I sometimes wish I could wake up to it every single morning. Hello seals, now I hear you. We don't see any Navy seals quite yet. We just see seals, no Navy seals. And sometimes there's a seal swimming by the Navy ship, and we call it a Navy seal. I do wonder what this pyramid building is all about, and I'm curious to go see. I'm just glad to be here too. Just really glad. What a view right here. I cannot ask for more. This is definitely paradise by the river. This is definitely paradise by the river. All we need is Grayson O'Neal to stop playing the piano, and that would be the view. Just looking at the river while Grayson O'Neal play the piano from behind us. Or maybe we need a piano player that just follows us along everywhere we go. That would definitely be one heck of a treat. Treat is a rolling piano that just rolls around and plays Rivertown music and the old country music and Disney songs as we stroll along. Over here looks like that's the baseball stadium. It does not seem that Sacramento's team made it into the playoffs either, unfortunately. And looks like the Avalanches are going directly to the Stanley World Cup. So we got ourselves a river walk. So now let's take a river walk and see what we see. Bam, there we go, river walk time. I don't think we can see very much due to all the foliage. But what we see here is a Canadian goose. All we see here is a Canadian goose, some stairs, some trees, and I'm not sure what's going on down here, but let's walk a few feet and see. Do a quick refresh right there, and a little zoom. Now we can get a clear picture of what's going on. Alright, so here it is. This is what the river does look like from a distance, and we're going to cross over, go on the other side of the bridge, and see what we can see. Maybe we can sneak around the old town area. Until the data goes kaput. If the data goes kaput, that'll be one sad day for everybody. Wah goes the data, the lag monster. And hopefully the lag monster does stay in the haunted mansion. That's where the lag monsters do live. They'd be sitting around the haunted mansion waiting for us to show up. And then be haunting us, with the lag, with eternal no lag, and 99 happy haunts. What a beautiful bridge from here. All we need is Spaceship Earth and a monorail, and the picture would be complete. But other than that, we got ourselves a beautiful view of the Sacramento Yellow Bridge, the riverboat, the skyscrapers, and the coastal river. If you listen very carefully, you can hear a bunch of seals honking. Maybe we can get a little closer to the seals, why not? I do wonder if we can see the sea lion nest. I know we can't get too close, but maybe if we take this walkway, we can actually see seafood. Not see our food, but see the sea lions. That's Red Lobster. Hopefully we can go on here onto the observation deck. That'd be a dream come true. And this right here, real quick, is a close-up view of the building that does remind me of the Aztec pyramids, or the Mexican pavilion in Epcot, depending on your point of reference. We are back again. Thank you for your patience. This is actually the Washington neighborhood public boat deck. This is what the pyramid building does look like. And also, did you know that the Great Pyramids in Egypt were originally covered with white and golden tiles? Unfortunately, over the years, people took away all the white and golden tiles to make different buildings and or dilute the historical artifacts. That is what happened to the white and golden pyramids on tiles on the Great Pyramids of Egypt and Great Pyramids of Egypt and Giza too. I do wish that we were able to see the pyramids the way that they were originally built. Let's go over here, see if we can see a bunch of seals. Boop. Looks like that the dock is closed for maintenance, unfortunately, but we can see how close we can get so we can see some seals today. Some seals, not the Navy SEALs. This is how far we can go. But I think that we go back down onto the walking path, we can actually get a closer look at the seals over there. This is what we see so far. I know, guess what? We see a lot of stuff. We got to see. Sometimes I feel that I say the word "see" so much that we can fill an entire bowl of alphabet soup. Wow. I wonder why it's closed too. Maybe it's off season. And I get a feeling that it will reopen in June. In most cities, the prime boating seasons are June, July, and August. But the very quiet seasons, they usually have all the boating areas closed. Just like what we saw in Chicago, when the Grand Fountain was closed down until later April. Not sure what it is, but I just love looking at water too. Does anybody else enjoy just looking at the water and seeing the ripples? There were times when I was really young that I'd just go out to the waterfront near Cherry Creek Reservoir in Sloan's Lake, and I would just stare into the water, hoping to see a scuba diver. That was me during a dragon boat festival, where I saw a little piece of wood waiting in the water, and I thought that it was a scuba diver. I was literally waiting. I was literally just sitting there, just waiting until the scuba diver crested or percolated. Unfortunately, my mom had to break the bad news and say, "Oh, sorry, Tony, it's just a piece of wood." However, I enjoyed watching the dragon boats, and I was very briefly on the dragon boat team. I was supposed to partake in the dragon boat team, but unfortunately, I found out that I couldn't be on the team. From the best of my knowledge, until correction, I meant to say, I found out that I couldn't be on the team after I graduated college from what I can become, which is really disappointing because I just found a team and joined the team on my very last college semester last year. So, no dragon boats for me, but it's a really fun sport to watch. and I really wish that I got to paddle, which is actually the correct terminology for dragon boat. Let's go see some seals, which is actually the correct terminology for dragon boat. Instead of rowing, when you row, you're basically going in a circular motion, but when you paddle, you go up and down with your arms or side to side. Same here, Gizmo. I could sit here and watch, and people watch, and all day long. I could also animal watch show. That's why we're going down to where the seals are, just so we can get a closer look. Even though it may not be as pretty, but it'll be something. And I'm ready to relax too. Ready to relax in the shade. It does smell like a bunch of peach linoleum blossoms. And I just noticed that there's a bunch of, I forgot the name of it, but a bunch of honeysuckles. So if you do sniff very carefully into the honeysuckles, you can actually smell the sweet smell of honey. And if you eat one, you can actually taste the nectar, which does taste like honey. That's why they're called honeysuckles, if I recall correctly. And now let's go and meet some seals. Hey, good morning. Hi. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I don't see anybody out here. For disconnecting. Not sure what happened here, but the Wi-Fi went kaput. Unfortunately, we cannot really see the seals, but what we can do is we can go back up onto the deck and zoom on in. Not sure what's going on with our connection over here, which is really unfortunate. Well, let's go back up onto the deck and see what we can see. Turns out we cannot really see much. The closer we get to the river. I'm guessing that the water does interfere with cellular data. I do get a feeling that the water does unfortunately interfere with the data, or the farther we move away from the outland we move to. Aw, this is what we can see. How adorable. Same here, Gizmo. I can sit around all day and just do this. Aww. That was definitely a really neat sight to see. So now let's go on to the other side of the bridge and see what we can see. Hopefully we get a better connection out there. This way you can see exactly what I'm seeing too. I'm not sure what they're building over there, but they're definitely building something, but they definitely got something to develop. Usually an empty lot does not sit around for that long or for very long in the city. And I also wonder what used to be there. Mama Madura. This is actually called the Union Square area. I saw a placard, but over here is a bridge once again. So let's see what's on the other side of the bridge. We will cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, so here it is. Definitely a very bustling and busy bridge, and of course a Canadian geese. I thought I heard somebody call my name, but it was somebody else. So let's keep on going, seeing what we can see. I probably crossed this bridge. Maybe we might have to go down back down. I'm thinking what we might have to do is go down that side, then go backwards, do the reverse slide, and then go back out to the other side of the bridge. Hi, good morning. Alright, here's the river view. It's a lot prettier than the traffic view, in my opinion. Whoop. Let's show, and now let's see. Now let's see. I decided for some reason. For some reason, I saw a drop tower, but April Fool's is just a light post. Get behind gate when the bridge starts lifting up. This is actually where the bridge will actually lift up, where the bridge will lift up and go into the sky. As you can see, this is the pulley and suspension system. This is the pulley and suspension system. Let's just blow me away right there. Reminds me of a tower lift. And there's definitely a counterweight up there that will actually lift the bridge up. Just like a tower lift. It definitely is, Gizmo. That's why I love coming out here and seeing some brand new stuff all day long. looks like that we're just in time for a choo-choo train. Let's see what train's coming our way. Will be Amtrak. And I kind of wonder if it's going to be the California Zephyr or the Silver Media, not the Silver Media, but the Golden Coast train. Let's see if we can time it just right so we can see the train blasting by. As always, be sure to stand behind the railroad lines, and we just missed a train. That was fool's gold. What a prank. Oh my gosh. Hi. Let's see if we can see anything down the tracks or down the waterfront. Right, here we go. Let's go see if we have better luck on the side of town, or if we're going to get teleported back into the 1800s where we get nada, or back into the future. Hopefully we stay in the future or the present. This is definitely the old school locomotive steam train tracks. No wonder the hotel gives us earplugs. And you know what's wild is just how well kept up these tracks are, despite being in quotation marks abandoned. Same with all the tracks out in the Midwest. And basically every single track I saw was really well maintained. So I begin to wonder who goes out to maintain tracks even when they go in the seemingly middle of nowhere. But however, the tracks are really well maintained. Unfortunately, this is the dead zone. Looks like we can't do any of Old Town, so let's get back out into the future. Looks like we're going back into the future, not back into the past. No wonder the movie is called Back in the Future, not Back in the Past. And down here, if you're curious, these very fluffy things are actually cottonwood trees. There's a story that there's actually a story that if you see a cottonwood stick and you break it open, all your dreams will come true. And also another thing about cottonwood sticks is if there's one, if you break open a cottonwood stick, it did not really break open, you can see a little star. It's really hard to see here, but there's like a little star in the middle of the cottonwood stick. And rumor has it that if you make a wish, your wish will come true and will be sent up into the sky. So that's what I learned about cottonwoods. Plus another thing about cottonwoods, if I recall correctly, is that they were used to make stuffing during World War II and during the Industrial Revolution. Unfortunately, not today. I don't have anything. So this is the cottonwood, and it's just really soft and really fuzzy. This is also used to make sweaters. From what I can tell, I would love to make myself a cottonwood blanket. But unfortunately with cottonwood, there might be a lot of little insects such as ticks and fleas that you may not know about. Same with the moss in New Orleans. That is what Ford initially made their seat cushions with a bunch of like Florida and New Orleans moss. Unfortunately, a lot of people were developing rashes and itches to the point where Ford realized that there was a bunch of insects within the cottonwood, within the Florida moss, which is why that did get discontinued. Alright, I'm not sure what's going on the other side of the bridge, but it does look like it's a bunch of condominiums and apartments. Oops.
You're okay. Sorry.
Alright, sorry. Alright, let me scoot over. Hi, good morning. Whoop. We did miss our crossing by here, but I do see that's definitely a residential area down there. But let's just take a little peek over there. Why not? we are back. Thank you everybody for your patience. Not sure what's going on with this gimbal thingy, but oopsies. It definitely is an interesting gizmo, and that is why I do enjoy going out. That's why I do enjoy just going out there and seeing what's going on. Here's what the bridge looks like from the other side. Placard. Hello Cupcake Abby, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. How are you doing? We got ourselves a Sacramento Tower Bridge, and they've been building a bunch of bridges. And what's wild about this bridge is that it's 162 feet tall, which is 30 feet shorter than the Hollywood Tower Hotel, aka the Tower Bridge. And it's actually supposed to be, and it actually goes 1 foot per second, and it weighed with a weight of 5 million pounds. It used to be silver before it was changed to gold to match the state capitol's dome. I'm doing good. I'm doing good myself. What about you? Just enjoying the river view and the Golden Bridge, the Golden Tower Bridge, aka the Hollywood Tower Hotel, but as a bridge. Imagine if Disney actually used the lift motors from this bridge into the Tower. I kind of wonder how fast it would go by then. I get a feeling that Tower would be going at 49 miles per hour instead of 39 miles per hour. Right now, we are in Sacramento, California, admiring the Tower of Terror Bridge, which you call the Tower of Terror Bridge. Same here, Shay. I just really love being here today. And it just smells like red paint, which means that somebody has been painting an exterior. That's going to be the case in Disney World within a few months. When Disney starts painting the exterior of Tower, it's going to smell like red paint and a whole lot of pink. It's going to smell so amazing. I unfortunately don't think there's very much to see beyond this point, but I just love taking a look anyways. We do got ourselves a crow and a black jay. We actually got ourselves a residential ball over there for the hotel, and I wish you were here too, Shay. That'd be so amazing. Alright, let's see what's going down on the riverside. Just there's a lot of seating area, which just surprised me. Usually in these kind of towns, there's not very much seating area, and the seating area is usually not just empty. It is actually 59 degrees out here, which is very surprising. I thought it was gonna be roasting and toasting just like in Disneyland, which is at 80 degrees right now. This is the overhang on the bridge, and I believe this does go to Sierra Nevada, and the river going the other way goes to Chicago. Definitely a mighty long river. And in the shade, it's very pleasant with a cool river breeze. It is around 40 degrees in the shade. And what's really surprising me is that I'm not in my gigantic winter jacket and I'm still comfortable. I thought I'd either be in a giant winter jacket or either a tank top and shorts, but wearing long pants along with an over jacket is really, really comfortable right now, allegedly. Over here, you can see some wildlife. Unfortunately, it just passed up, but I just saw a gigantic deer just walking right by. I cannot ask for a better morning, and I wish we were all here together in person. This is what the riverway does look like bright and early in the morning. And if we keep on walking, we're going to end up in the Sahara Desert. It's wild to think that the entire desert morphed from, that the entire landscape just from yesterday morphed from a Sahara Desert to scrubs, to pine trees, and now to lush palm tree valley in the valley of the mountains. I forgot the name of the mountain, but let me double check real quick. We are actually in the valley of the Central Huron Mountains, which is why it's so luscious and green, due to how all the humidity does get trapped and sinks down into the valley. Over here, let's zoom on in. Let's take a little closer look if we can. We got ourselves some wild goats. I've never seen wild goats before, but that's definitely a sight. Or maybe these are miniature horses. I just find it really wild thinking that there's actually wild goats, which I've never seen before outside of the zoo. It does look like that somebody has a herd of goats or sheep, and maybe some sea lions too. I just love looking at wildlife. Same with colonies of ants. Whenever there's a colony of ants moving a crumb of food, I'd be staring at the ants for 3 hours. Know what? I have an idea. Next time I see a colony of ants, I'm going to sit down and live stream that and see how long it takes the ants to move a bit of food to the ant nest. That's what we're doing next time. If we see a bunch of ants, is live streaming a bunch of ants. And right down there is a sea lion swimming around. I've not seen a sea lion swim in the middle of a river before. One of my biggest dreams is seeing a black bear catch a fish or an elk swimming. I would love to see a moose or an elk, which are also my favorite animals besides hedgehogs. Hopefully we can get an up close view of the sea lion. More like a piece of wood, unfortunately. April Fools. I thought I saw a sea lion, but that's either a gigantic caterpillar or a really tiny river with a gigantic caterpillar swimming inside of it. We just got our hopes up for a little bit. I couldn't agree more, Shay. So relaxing. I'm just so glad. Everybody, just had to do another refresh real quick. I would just love to sit around one day and just admire a gigantic pile of ants building a nest or taking food into the nest. That's what we're doing next time. If I see ants in the kitchen, I'm setting down my sheets of paper, putting food on the paper. This way you can get a very clear view of the ants. That's exactly what we're live streaming when I get back home in the Denver. That's exactly what we're live streaming. Is ants. I'm not sure who wouldn't watch ants, but I would definitely be watching ants all day. Same like the little goats across the river. Maybe the alpaca, given how long the next stretch. also there might be a day we had to go to Hollywood Studios and just sit in front of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Just sit down in one spot just showing the Hollywood Tower Hotel all day long and not doing anything else. Just watching the elevator shafts open and close. Just like what we're watching right now. Does that look like a baby camel to me? I keep thinking I see baby camels, but I realize that we're not in Egypt, and Egypt is one of the very few countries where camels can live and thrive outside of zoos or enclosures. I would love to, if I ever go to the Sierra Desert, and if I ever go to the Savannah Desert, I would love to sit around and watch a pack of camels across the desert. I wish we could zoom in a little bit farther, but a little dab would do. Well, it's been amazing right now, but unfortunately I do have to get going. I do unfortunately, oops, wrong button. I unfortunately do have to get going right now, but it's been such a wonderful time hanging out with everybody. Well, I want to thank all of you for watching today, enjoying a relaxing river stream, and if you have not already, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to Tonio Tower for even more Tower views, adventures, and possibly watching a pile of ants move food from the living room into the kitchen. With that being said, we'll see you around tomorrow, see you around later, and you too, Gizmo, thank you, Shay, it's so good to see you too, Cupcake Abby, and everybody who is here today. We'll definitely see you around bright and early as we head to Los Angeles, a little step closer to Disneyland, and we'll see you around, everybody. Bye bye and have a wonderful day. We will be back, and also stay tuned because we may be back a little bit later this evening depending on how plans go and if plans do change. So see you around, everybody. Bye, have a wonderful day. Boop.